Hi, I'm George, TSG's Open Content Product Manager. In this short demo, I'm going to compare how the search components in the Alfresco Developer Framework, or ADF, compare to the Open Content Management Suite. Now, before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. ADF is a development framework, not an application. So you really can build whatever you want. For these demos, I'm going to be using Alfresco's demo shell application, which is, it's not meant to be production ready. It just shows what ADF can do, and it's more of a developer resource than a finished product. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and log into the ADF demo shell application. And we're taken to a page here where we can see some different things to try out over here on the left. But focusing in on search, like share, there's sort of this global search up here above where I can quickly just start typing in. So right away, we're seeing some of the limitations, just in the interface side of having a global search where you're not choosing the type. Can be slow in large environments and usually results in too many items coming back. Now the demo shell application here doesn't have like an advanced search type interface, but of course, since it's a developer framework, you can build something like that if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just run a search for TSG, and it's going to run the search, and it'll come back with the results here on the right. Again, because of that generic type, that I'm not specifying a type, I am getting some results here, like some configuration XML files that I really don't want, but I do see the TSG documents that I'm interested in. Now, looking at the results interface in particular, we do see some ways to filter the result set over here. And these could be used to build more of an advanced search, but they act more like filters in this demo shell application. So I can filter down based on name or type if I want to focus on maybe just folders or documents, created date. Really, these are here to kind of just show you some different controls that you could use to either build filters after you execute a search or to actually build your own advanced search type interface. With the demo shell application, one thing to note is that these filters, you just kind of type it in and then hit enter, actually go out to the server and re-execute the search rather than doing the filtering, in the client side quickly. So like share beyond the types that if you wanted to, have type-based searching, you would need additional coding. Similarly to share, the column headers, you'll see there's actually no column headers for type for attribute data, and it's only showing some generic data. So if you wanted to have custom metadata appear or column names here, we would have to code that. Also, like share, there's sort of limiting sorting ability. So here I can sort by clicking this arrow up or down, and I can choose between some different fields here. But again, if I wanted to sort based on custom metadata, I would need to code that. This demo shell application is using sort of a tabular view of the data with pagination controls down here, which is fine for most clients. Some clients that want a grid sort of view with thumbnails, I don't see a results view for that. So you could, of course, build that on your own. And for these results here, we have a number of ways to execute actions. I can use this sort of menu button here to pull down some actions, which is a little bit better than share, which has it hidden. You have to mouse over it. So that is sort of a nice touch of this data table. Or I can right click the table to get to document actions. And a future video will dive into actually viewing folders and documents. But if I double click any of these, it will launch the document. So now I'm going to switch over to Open Content Search, and the biggest difference here is that obviously as a finished application, it's all configuration rather than development. But one of the biggest differences is it's always type-based and metadata-based searching rather than the global sort of search everything sort of paradigm. So in our admin interface, we can configure different tracks, what we call tracks and types to search against, and then the metadata that we can search against for that particular type. So here for controlled documents, I'm searching on doc number, status, approved date. But if I change to say, our insurance scenario. Now I'm looking for policies or underwriting documents, and all of this just changes based on configuration. But with our search, we have different types of controls like the text box or drop downs, and this is actually a type ahead, so I can begin typing. But we also have some more advanced type searching controls. Like we do have the ability to search on date ranges, similarly to how the ADF control works. But we also have what we call a proximity date search, which allows you to search in proximity to today. So rather than choosing a range, I can say, find me documents that have been approved, or sorry, effective in the past month or something like that. We also have the ability to save searches, so I can just choose a save search from my list here. So this is just going to populate TSG documents in the draft status, and my results appear over here on the right. And since one of our best practices is to show the criteria along with the results, if I want to come over and say I just want to remove draft and re-execute this search, I can do that very quickly while keeping an eye on the results. Now, looking at the results table over here, we do have administratively controlled which column headers appear, and the user can choose this. So maybe I really care mostly about the effective date and the approved date doesn't interest me as much. I can go ahead and hide that, and I can also drag these columns around, and the system will remember which columns I have selected. Any of these columns can be clicked to sort on that particular column. And we can filter in a number of ways. So I can come over here to administratively configured facet filters and just start narrowing down. So I can click approved and find approved. Maybe I add in draft and it's going to add in those documents. And we can see here I can facet on other fields configured by the administrator. But I can also filter based on just this quick filter. So I can just start typing 101 and it'll find that document, or disaster and it'll find the document in the title. Now, one quick thing to note is that this filtering is all done immediately on the client side. So there's no need to go back to the server to re-execute a search. I'm going to switch quickly over to the underwriting track and look for underwriting documents in a certain policy, just because we have this one configured where I not only can see the table, but I can also see thumbnails. So here are some thumbnails of documents, and this works really well as for images that you can quickly preview the document. So in this table, we have a number of ways to execute actions. I can right click on the row to execute, say, view properties of a document. I can also select all documents and execute an action against all of them. Very typical one is to export these results to Excel. I'll go ahead and just cancel. Well, that's it for this comparison video. Be sure to stay tuned to the TSG blog in the coming weeks. We'll be diving into more comparisons between ADF components and OCMS. Thanks for watching.